How's it going, everyone? This is Gersha from Technical Option Traders Inc. Hope you guys are having a great day. Let's get started with what's going on in the market, and let's see how we're gonna play this out. So if we look at the S&P 500, so a crucial level here, which is the 385 level, which is trying to bounce from. It's holding this zone really well on the S&P 500, which is great. However, if we start looking at the market as a whole and start just analyzing the price action here, the rising volume or the green volume is still declining, so it's not really a positive move for us as bulls. Yesterday, the decline that happened, it was on lower volume, but it still took it out, and we have multiple tests of this level right here at 385.30. Now, because we have multiple tests and price action bouncing here, I do want to stress a critical point here. I do want to see S&P 500 get above this level at 404. If we cannot get above the 404 level, which is this level right here, we are going to have a continuous move down, right? Then the bigger level to watch would be the 430 level, just to kind of see where price action goes from here, okay? And if we just keep watching this level, if this level is held by the bears, unfortunately S&P 500 can reduce its size quite drastically, right? So this is a level that I'm going to mark that we need to pay big attention to. But on a smaller time frame or smaller senses, we want to see this downtrend line break and price get above this level. If it cannot, unfortunately, it'll get to this level, and if it fails, it'll reverse back to 393 and we break 385. If as soon as we break 385 now, I'm going to take a more of an aggressive position because these are two tests right here. It could be a double bottom. The only way this confirms if we get a break of 410. But right now, if this level breaks here, I expect a big drawdown on the S&P 500. Otherwise, these are the two primary levels, 404 and then about 430. If we can get to the zone, we will have a fantastic little run up here. Otherwise, you can expect volatility to stay and just further down moves to come in a lot slower. And keep in mind, guys, so this move that I'm talking about right now, it's a very slow down move on the S&P 500 overall, okay? So this is what I want you guys to pay attention to is the time that is taking for price to bounce here. The longer it takes, the more that level is accepted, and the longer it's accepted, the chances are it'll continue in that trend, right? So we need some buyers to start stepping in aggressively to start pushing this. If we don't get a lot of buyers coming in aggressively, unfortunately, not much can be said about this market other than the fact that the drawdown will continue on this market, and it won't be very good. But we do need buyers to step in here. Unfortunately, we are not getting that right now. We are getting these bounces in these minor trends, but if you look at it, this is just a range. We do need a bounce above this level right here and the 410, so we'll see what it does in the S&P 500. So looking at the triple Qs overall now, let's have a look at them. They had a nice bounce here. Okay, once again, same thing. But the Qs, unfortunately, I am not so much bullish on right now, or even later. The Qs unfortunately have a target of a lot higher, which is about 330. Okay, so the thing with the Qs is that there's a lot of uncertainty, right? The Qs have sold off way more than the S&P 500. They have a head and shoulder pattern on the weekly time frame, which is panning out quite well. And if this breaks right here at 285, it's going to break down massively. And we see this whole wave down. Look at the enormous amount of selling volume. Even if we do get a pullback on the Qs and we go to 325, great, that's a nice pullback, but that's not necessarily enough to hold the Qs here, right? There's still weakness in the market. There's still weakness overall, right? Even if we look at the market as a whole, we want to focus on something here. We had a nice move up in these sectors, but once again, energy's up again, XOP's up again, defense up with every other sector. It's not something I want to see. That's just telling me this is just a bounce, right? So if I look at the Qs on the hourly time frame here, we do need the Qs to get above this level right here, okay, which is the 305 level. And then what I want to see is I want to see this level break, right, because it does have a smaller trend line, you could say, that's going on over here. And we don't want to stretch it too much, but I'll just adjust it just a little bit. So this trend line has gotten even steeper to this side, okay? So if this level is not, so the Qs can get to 297, then they need to get above 305. This is where I'm looking to take a trade here above this to just a quick scalp. But if this downtrend line is broken at 311 and pushes to 325, I'll take a bigger move once price closes above 330. If price cannot close above 330, this will be a big factor for us, and the Qs can continue to fall. Okay, let's look at Dow Jones here. Dow Jones overall in the daily picture, just trying to bounce here. Once again, they just set a new low right here. So once again, as the market trends, right? When it's a bullish market, it'll set new highs after a few days or a few weeks. This market is consistently setting new lows after a few days and a few weeks. Okay, so you guys can clearly tell the trend is not your friend right now. The trend, if you're bullish, if you're bearish, yes, it's working out for you, but it's very slow. It's a very controlled sell-off here that's happening. So a lot of big money is behind this because it's controlled. It's not aggressive and it's not drastic, right? So they're controlling this, and we'll see how far they want to take this. Looking at the Dow Jones on the weekly time frame here. Right, still just like the triple Qs and SPYs, heavy sell, went back to wants to test the 306 level, and this will take it back to about December of 2020, and then it has a big level at 295, which would take it to pre-COVID highs. Okay, so this is something that we want to pay attention to see how Dow Jones can go. But if you look at this wave right here, this is sold off quite well, but we do need a bounce from here. If we don't get a bounce and we can't get above 345, it's going to be a big problem. On the hourly time frame on the Dow Jones, as you guys can see, this trend is extending. I want to see it get above the 322 to push to 328. Otherwise, we got no trade, and it can fall down further here on the Dow, right? So let's look at the IWM, right? IWM's got a little trend happening here, right? So IWM has a little trend happening, and what I'm looking for is like this trend, right? If this continues to hold, we got a little price channel going on to the upside that I'm watching, and I do like right now, right? IWM, and if this continues to hold like this, right, it could bounce easily, right? So it could bounce between the zones and work its way up. Okay, if it can get above this downtrend line and get above 184, we could be looking for a reversal right now. Otherwise, if you guys know what this looks like, this does look like a bearish flag. So you break down and flag, and if we have a breakdown of 173, we'll break 170 and we'll continue to fall further. Okay, so we'll see how far this goes before it breaks down, or if there's a complete reversal, we'll get above 192. But this is the channel that IWM is trading under, and that's something you guys want to keep your eye out for. If this channel does break to the downside at 173, we'll break down quite aggressively, and that's something we want to watch for. IWM, otherwise, right now on the daily time frame, if you look at it, it's just a bounce. It's also set new lows. It has tested this level, which was set in November of 2020. So it's gone back quite a bit, and this same level was a high of 2020 pre-COVID. So this is something that's gone back. So it's given back a lot of gains here. So this could be just a bounce to test to 184 before it finally breaks down here on IWM. Looking at gold here, gold is trying to bounce. It's gapped up here today. We'll see what it does. So what I'm looking at for gold is a lot of downtrends that it has to break. But on the weekly time frame, it's still holding this trend line barely. It needs more strength, needs more buyers to come in, and it needs to push above 175 and get to the 180 level. If it cannot get above 180 over the next couple months, so we can expect this to come down a little bit more here on gold. Okay, looking at the 1 hour time frame here. The hourly time frame, the smaller trend line is trying to break. I'm not too concerned with that. I need gold price to get above 175, close above it, right, and to consolidate above the 175 before I start thinking of any long positions on gold for now. But otherwise, gold, I'm just watching, observing, not playing. Okay, K-Web is having a nice time here. It's trying to bounce. It's in this consolidation zone. As long as it stays above this gap and consolidates in this area, it will build itself a level to break out from. However, the bigger level I'm watching is 29 on K-Web. If it breaks this, can easily push to 33. That's something we want to watch on the upside. On the downside, if it breaks 23, there'll be a gap fill all the way to 22, and then possibly we can see 20s, right? So that's something we want to watch for. Obviously, today, ARC, once again, it's in consolidation, right? So it makes sense. It's not breaking out, not really breaking down, right? So something we want to watch for here, we want to see where the momentum goes, where the buyers come in, and how aggressive these buyers are, and how we get a trend change. This move down has been aggressive. We can get an easy pullback to about 52. If we do get a pullback to 52, that's great. But what is worth watching is what price action does at 52.91. Okay, so that's something we want to keep an eye on what this price action does over here. So before we decide to make any kind of plays here, remember guys, you have to wait for confirmation. If you're not waiting for confirmation, you're most likely going to get killed. Okay, so looking at the VIX, once again, the VIX is down quite a bit today here, right? So it's consolidating in this range, not really breaking up, not really breaking down. Something to keep your eyes on here is VIX. Okay, so if it breaks above 32, it can continue to push higher, but right now it's not doing so right now. So VIX is consolidating. It needs to get below 20s so we can feel more confident in this market. So before we start taking any kind of trades, need to watch where the VIX is headed. Right now, still bullish on the smaller time frames right now. Okay. So if it continues to follow this trend on the VIX, it'll continue to work its way up. But right now, the sectors that are up are, just XME, but these sectors are not really up, right? If you look at it, these are just bounces, right? Right, oil and gas, okay, that's fine. It's trying to bounce. Commodities are trying to bounce. XLE is trying to bounce, right? So that's something we want to keep an eye on. Don't give up on just yet. Bitcoin, once again, consolidating here at a lower level. So Bitcoin, if it breaks here, not a 25,000, 26,000 level, we gotta weigh down to 20,000. Okay. So if you guys like what I do, once again, please comment, like, subscribe to my channel. I appreciate it. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Stay safe, trade well. If you guys like what we do, we also have our trading community. You guys are more than welcome to join. I'll see you guys tomorrow.